Monday, partly to mostly sunny, near 90. Educating, entertaining, and empowering Jonesboro, we're KLEK 102.5 FM.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Rebecca Foster. U.S. President Donald Trump says he's willing to testify under oath about his conversations with fired FBI Director James Comey. British Prime Minister Theresa May says she will not be making any high-profile changes to her cabinet following the UK election. And contradicting a tempering message from his Secretary of State Friday, President Trump is continuing to support Saudi-led efforts to isolate Qatar.
It's 12:01.
KLEK LP Jonesboro, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council. It's now time for our Thoughts on the Matter, a program offering opinions from all sides of the issues concerning local, state, and national topics of importance to the Jonesboro community. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, or our underwriters, donors, or sponsors.
KLEK 102.5 FM, good afternoon to you on your Saturday. It's June 10th, 2017. It is now time for our Thoughts on the Matter, and Kato Wonder is in the studio with you with my tuxedo on, and everyone's been kind of making fun of me, but the reason why I've got this tux on is coming up at 3 o'clock p.m., the Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated will be celebrating their 20th anniversary on the campus of Arkansas State University Student Union Spring River Room, so that's why I'm dressed up. But enough about me. Our panel for today is Mrs. Norma Farrell, Mrs.
Hello.
Amanda Donovan,
Good afternoon.
and Mr. Brad Dial.
Hello, everyone.
And Brother Cobbs will hopefully be joining us soon. He's over his shop, probably cutting someone's hair. And also, shout out to Mrs. Shanquetta Cunningham, who is our contributor, but she was not able to make it this week, but she wanted to make sure that we shouted her out. All right, so this week we have a very unique topic, and this is something that is going to potentially come up in the future, so we want to actually talk about it now. And it's the subject of universal basic income. And what originally brought this to my attention was a news article in which Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg was giving a speech somewhere, and he was actually speaking in favor of it. And the way that universal basic income works is that the government would give every single citizen a set amount of money in which to live on, no matter if you're rich, poor, black, white, no matter who you are, you would get this guaranteed income. And the reason why that there are some people that are pushing for it is because more and more industries are going into automation. Of course, Mrs. Farrell, you retired from General Electric, so you are familiar with doing factory work, so you know that, I'm sure when you first started working in the factory, there were a lot of people working, and as the years wore on, some of those people were replaced by machines. Where there are other industries in which are going to this as well, and two of the primary industries are the trucking industry, in which Mrs. Donovan has experience in, and the fast food industry, which I'm sure all of us at some point has done some kind of fast food work. In fact, regarding fast food, McDonald's is actually experimenting with self-serve kiosks that would kind of work like a vending machine, where you put your money or your credit card in and you order what you want, and the machine cooks the food and it spits it out, and you walk off with your food. There's no human interaction. And also, there are trucking companies. I know overseas, Mercedes-Benz is one of them that are experimenting with self-driving trucks. So once these two industries actually go fully automated, a lot of people are going to be out of work. There's going to be a lot of jobs that are going to be eliminated. There are going to be a lot of people around that are looking for work but won't be able to work again. So that's where this comes in as a potential solution to a point that could come in the next 20, 30 years, where there's just not enough jobs to go around. Of course, there's some people who are going to be in favor of it. There's some people going to be against it. So that's a little bit of the background, so we're going to go ahead and start our discussion.
Well, to me, coming from being a truck driver, and my grandfather also retired from General Electric, my first experience was hearing him talk about the robot that would go crazy and throw sprockets everywhere. I'm all for social media and the phones and stuff like that, but I'm not really a technology person. Every time I think of a robot, I think of Terminator. One day we're going to lead, so, we're putting Americans out of work. We're considering doing that, and from what I've read on the internet, some places are experimenting anywhere from $600 to $1,200 a month. I don't know about you, but I know I couldn't survive on $600 a month with 3 kids. I couldn't do it. And a robot should not take a place of a person. I'm sorry. That's why I switch ranks, because I don't feel, I have rather speak to a human being,
I'm going to go out on a limb and just start off and say I'm 100% completely against this. I mean, no, I'm talking about the universal income. 100% completely against it. And here's why. You're probably going, well, Brad, people need to be able to live. Well, people can live. If you look at some of the discussion about this, first off, this is being proposed by a man that is worth $65 billion. Of course, he's not worried about it because he's on his little cloud.
Right.
I mean, anybody sitting on
is he going to contribute to?
I mean, well, it's not the point. I mean, here's the thing. It's all nice and fun to say, yes, we can give people income. Where's that money going to come from? It has to come from somewhere. Somebody's going to be taxed for it. Somebody's going to pay it in.
Well,
this is the epitome of there's no such thing as a free lunch.
Right. Well, ultimately, think about it. If you start with transportation, they were talking about semi-trucks. Well, it stems from the semi-trucks to the taxi drivers and all them other people. All these people are going to be out of a job. Who's going to,
Here's the flip side of that is they might lose that job, but this technology, these items, they don't spawn out of thin air. Somebody's got to make them.
Right. Well, who's going to pay for their college in order to be up to speed for this?
So you got your...
No, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, I did retire. Let me straighten that out, too. Comment on it. From General Electric, and don't forget DuPont / I will never forget them, too. But the automation that we're talking about is taking place or takes place in these places. You got people that's got to monitor these robots. They just don't sit there and do their thing because they can't walk and they can't get a pencil. They can't get on a computer. They don't do everything. They do a lot. And it will eliminate some jobs, but then you call what they call outsource. They'll find something else for you to do in replace of that.
Right. I mean, and that particular topic is already stemmed off from the original, but I mean, it's going to be adaptation. I mean, that's really all it is. I mean, the world has to grow, the world has to change, but Legan's brought up the topic about universal income, and again, someone has to pay for this. If you want to look at statistics, you can take them however you want to. Currently, right now, more than 50% of American households, again, more than 50%, they are getting some form of government assistance already, okay? But if you look at your federal income taxes, only about 48% of Americans pay federal income tax. All right?
Where's the money going to come from?
Okay, well, there's that, but then at what point your people should not rely on your government to live. The government should rely on the people, okay? So, I mean, I'm going to probably go down a rabbit hole when I say this, but at what point are you asking the government to have their hand in every single aspect of your life? It's like, for example, Legans, can I borrow $100?
Well, I don't have it on me.
Well, if you had it, can I borrow it?
Well, I'll probably let you borrow just because I'm cool with you.
Okay, so I'm going to go take that $100 that you give me, that you want to give me because I truly need it. I say I truly need it to live, but I'm going to go spend it on frivolous, unnecessary junk. I mean, at that point, you're the one providing. You probably want to have some form of say in probably where your money goes, and you're asking the government to provide you with income to live. At that point, the government then has your control. I mean, they can. You are relying on the government at that point. You are no longer in control of your own life.
That sounds like communism again to me.
Doesn't it, though?
But, I mean, I believe in the free enterprise. I've always done the free enterprise lifestyle. But you got some people that have to rely on the government because they have no other choice.
Now, that's
I'm fine
completely
with
different
that.
right there. Exactly.
But the ones that just out here for a free ride, no.
Exactly. If you look at the numbers, over half of American households rely on some form of government assistance. And you cannot tell me that over half of Americans can't work. Over half of American households are not able to provide for themselves.
Well, it's work because there's plenty of jobs here in Jonesboro. I don't know about other places, but I know here you can find a job.
And,
If you want one, I would think. I'm not in the business looking for one, but and had for over 20, almost 17 years. But
you know,
I
was doing reading
their
on
job's
this
there.
over the week when we were talking about this, and I mean, if you want to look at something completely killed what we call the American dream, this is it.
That's right. That's what I got from it too.
Well, I do want to ask this question. Okay, so obviously the consensus seems to be that this is not the route to go, but even if this isn't put in place, automation is still going to
It's
come
gonna take place.
because the corporations pretty much they're thinking about their bottom line, and whatever can save them or make them the most money, they're going to do that. And
It's
automation is going to do that. So you're still going to have all of these people who are out of work. If it's not necessarily the government's job to just hand them money, does the government at least have a responsibility to try to retrain these people or
Right.
to assist them to find work? Should there be a program put in
and
place
they do.
to help these people who are displaced so that they can find their own way?
See,
They
when-
do. When
see-
you're displaced from a job, from a factory, with my experience, and that has been two, because one went to China, DuPont went to Puerto Rico. So you have an opportunity to be retrained, or you have an opportunity to relocate. So
See, my
you're
mama
not
went
just
through that.
thrown out there because, well, you don't have a job anymore. Goodbye. So there's resources that they'll guide you and help you, and it's not an overnight thing. Sometimes it takes a year, 2 years, wherever you're comfortable, wherever your next phase of life that you're going, they're going to assist you to get there.
My mama, she lost her job when she worked for Dana and went to Mexico, and she had the option to either relocate to Mexico or get an education, and my mother chose the computer field. So,
I don't know. I'm still going to go out on a limb and say I don't think it's the government's responsibility at that
well,
point.
see,
I
these
really don't.
companies are the ones who actually
I get that.
pay for the.
That's
Retraining.
different, and
Right.
that's not government. That's
Right.
the company.
No,
That's right.
free.
It should not be the government's responsibility
Right.
to train you how to do a job.
I'm 100% like you're saying. I don't think it's the government's place. I think it's the company's place.
And actually, on what McGann's brought up, there's a few articles about this. There are some countries that already do a form of universal income. Actually, I think it was it Sweden or one of the-
Netherlands.
one of the Netherlands countries, and it's not necessarily they give all people a universal income. They do a lottery of those that are already on some form of social assistance, and they would actually do a drawing of those out of that and then provide a certain amount of money to allow them to get back on their feet, and then they reassess and they redistribute that income to other people that are still in need. So it's not like they were always on a form of universal income, but it translates to like $15,000 a year, and we got already people that want minimum wage through the roof to translate into like a $30,000 to $35,000 a year income on raising minimum wage. So you're still back to somebody's going to want free income, but then they're going to want it to a certain level. So
Once again, you are tuned to Our Thoughts on the Matter on KLEK 102.5 FM. We're discussing the topic of universal basic income, and if you want to weigh in, you can give us a call at 870-277-1080. Once again, that phone number is 870-277-1080. You can also leave your questions and comments on our Facebook live stream, and do have a couple already, so let's read them and see what the listeners have to say, and we'll bring back the panel. Quabila says, how do you all feel about government in turn helping to fund nonprofit and social service agencies so that they can help individuals on a local level?
I'm going to tailor that on what I was saying earlier. First off, somebody's got to pay for this. I think there's always a time to help people that truly are in need. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for that. 100% helping people in need. Again, more than like 48 to 49% of households pay federal income tax. So, I mean, if you had that additional money, think of it, everybody put into the system, how much help you could truly do for people. You know, I mean, you could redistribute that easily. But again, I mean, I think for people in need, I don't think anybody at this table, anybody you talk to, would be upset about somebody trying to help someone in need.
Right.
No, I don't have a problem with that. I'll talk about the, well, it's kind of slang subject over on the healthcare part of it. Now, when I worked, I paid in healthcare for over 20 years. I was never sick. Didn't want to be sick. Not that sick now. But I have bills that I'm paying because of Medicare just pays so much. What about all that money that I paid in? Where did it go? I feel like myself, I believe if the government formed a private account for every citizen, if you work, then this is what you get. This is what you work, you put back for it. Just like all that insurance money that I paid in all those years. Now, if I get ready to go to a doctor now, I got to kind of scrape because Medicare is not going
to... Miss Farrell, they kind of have something like that now with well, no, not that.
Well,
but
I get that.
Yeah. But the health savings account.
Yeah.
Because that's what my wife has, a health savings account where a percentage of her paycheck goes and she gets an account as a debit card attached to it. She can use it to pay for medical bills or medicine or anything like that.
And again, I know it's not as simple as what I'm saying, but again, you have over 50% of U.S. households on some form of government assistance, and you have less than 50% paying federal income tax.
Yeah, because I'm one of them.
And then on top of that, and people talk about it, but they overlook it, the baby boomer time frame. I mean, there is an influx of like 78 million babies at that point in time. So you have that many more people into the system drawing from the pot.
But also, those people also paid for that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Every penny that I get that they send to me, I paid for it. I worked for it.
Exactly. So people like me, I mean, there is a potential that it might not be there for me because it's not only do you have that influx in population growth, but you have the influx in people that are drawing, putting their hand into the pocket because
and also,
we as a government and we as a people want to help every single person out there, and we feel like everybody should have this hand in it, and that's your issue right there in a whole. Everybody wants, but no one wants to know where it comes from.
The money would be there if the government keep their hands off of it.
But and let's bring this in. In one of the articles I read, one of the proposals to potentially fund this, because Brad is right, the money would have to come from somewhere. But there was one proposal where all current entitlements would be cut. Social Security, food stamps, welfare, all that would be eliminated, and that money would be transferred over into this UBIs.
I mean, why not?
That's when you go have World War III in the United States.
Well, that'd be a civil war, but I mean,
yeah, it's gonna be a civil war because I'm gonna be fighting in it.
Why not just completely overhaul what is currently there and helping out people, and really and truly trim out the waste and trim out the misappropriation? I mean, why not do that? We obviously know the systems we have do help people that need it, but there are folks that do need it that aren't getting it because we have, I mean, really misappropriation of what is currently there.
You got fraud?
Yeah, fraud. And I mean,
and I'll tell you right now, you call somebody in for that, they don't really do no investigation.
right.
All right, and we got another comment from Kubila. She says, okay, what about the government putting stricter regulations on corporations, escaping through these loopholes that keep them from paying their fair share of taxes? When they outsource, the U.S. loses out. I know there's no perfect answer, but we have to start somewhere.
Well, that's exactly who I'd be taxing.
Well, yeah, I mean, agreed. I mean, there's a lot of income.
Because there is such thing as corporate welfare.
Right. There's a lot of money that is completely going to other countries that is leaving the U.S. to where it really could be put back into the economy.
They could impose import.
It is a very
taxes.
fine line of how you do that. I mean, again, I'll go back to saying over half of Americans don't pay federal income tax. That's trillions of dollars. But on top of the corporate income tax, everybody loves and hates Walmart, right? You love them because they keep prices down, but you hate them because money goes somewhere else. You start taxing those companies even more, then your profit is going to dwindle for them, which we don't really care because it's not our profit, but it's going to hit our pocketbooks because that money's going to go.
And
Well, we got the president, our president of the United States is not even paid income tax, and I and my husband, we have to scuffle to pay.
Right. So
if
again,
people like that would pay and step up
Right.
and do the right
And
thing.
I'll tell you right now, Walmart is one of the worst companies because over half of their employees are on some form of welfare.
Right. I mean, but then again, you look at it though, if that money is going somewhere else and that is less money, I'm not defending this, but I'm just simply saying that the more taxes you make these corporations charge, the more they are going to find a way to make that money up somewhere else. That is typically going to be your consumers. That is going to come out of your pocketbook, and we're going to be back in the same place of things are too expensive and we need more money.
And I certainly understand where you're coming from, Brad, as well as the rest of the panel. I think the thing is, you know, if y'all remember from the 80s, trickle-down economics, the thing was, okay, let's cut the taxes on the corporations and the rich people, and that they would turn around and invest the money for more jobs and more things that would help people down the totem pole. But oftentimes it seems like instead of the tax savings from these corporations and rich people being invested, they just hoarded it and kept it for themselves, while the little guy basically, you know, didn't get anything. Of course, it's not my place or our place to tell people what to do with their money, but, you know, I don't know. Maybe
my question is, how much money do you have to live?
Well, whatever it is, I'm not making.
Depends on your lifestyle.
Well, whatever it is, I'm not making enough to do it right now. And with that, we're going to get ready to go to break. You're tuned to Our Thoughts on the Matter on KLEK 102.5 FM. As Amanda bobs her head to this change in music. Of course, you can leave your questions and your comments on our Facebook live stream. You can also give us a call at 870-277-1080. Once again, the phone number is 870-277-1080. This is KLEK 102.5 FM.
You're listening to Our Thoughts on the Matter on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Jen with your KLEK Learn Spanish Minute. Okay, so this is kind of a pickup line. I'm gonna just say it. It's a question, and try your hardest to guess what I'm saying, okay?
Alrighty.
¿Me puedes dar tu número de teléfono?
I'm guessing that's, can I get your phone number?
Yes, perfect. Now you try saying it in Spanish.
Okay, well.
It's easy to say in English. You said that with much confidence, but...
Well, but remember, we're trying to learn Spanish. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's break it down.
Okay. Me puedes dar... Darme, sorry.
Darme.
Yeah, darme tu número...
Tu número...
de teléfono.
De teléfono.
Yeah, that one's, the last word is a cognate, which means that it's the same thing. It's similar to what it is in English. So, telephone, teléfono, that's called a cognate in Spanish.
All right, well, let's break it down one more time.
Okay. Me puedes darme tu número de teléfono.
De teléfono.
Perfect. I'm Jen, and that was your Learn Spanish Minute on KLEK 102.5 FM.
The Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated was established on January 1st, 1977, originally serving Blytheville, Arkansas, and now serving Jonesboro, Blytheville, Osceola, Marion, and West Memphis, Arkansas. Today, the chapter continues to make an impact by focusing on Alpha's national community outreach initiatives such as My Brother's Keeper, A Voteless People is a Hopeless People, Go to High School, Go to College, Project Alpha, Boy Scouts, and the March of Dimes. The Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated is committed to Alpha's mission of developing leaders, promoting brotherhood and academic excellence, while providing service and advocacy to the community. More information about the Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated is available at MOL Alphas on Facebook or via email at molalphas@gmail.com.
Starks Auto Plaza, your pre-owned superstore, is a longtime supporter of KLEK. 2829 Red Wolf Boulevard, Starks offers clean, reliable vehicles of all makes and models. Starks also offers no-hassle pricing, friendly service, financing options with approved credit. At Starks, you're always family, and our motto is, we never say no. 870-203-9980. StarksAutoPlaza.com.
Support for KLEK is brought to you by
Fullness of Joy Ministries, 2120 Thorn Street, Jonesboro, under the direction of Bishop Adrian Rogers and co-pastor Susan Rogers. www.fjministries.org.
And now back to our thoughts on the matter on KLEK 102.5 FM.
And we're back on our thoughts on the matter on KLEK 102.5 FM. Do I hear Brother Cobbs coming into the studio?
No.
I thought I might heard the outside door.
Yeah, I heard
Yeah,
it.
I heard it.
Alrighty.
You
Well,
get busted.
yes, it is. Oh, Brother Cobbs walked in here, got the head shaved up all nice. If you're watching on our Facebook live stream, so we'll let Brother Cobbs have a seat and let's get Brother Cobbs mic'd up. All right. So once again, we are having a discussion on universal basic income. So Brother Cobbs, want to go ahead and get your thoughts on the topic.
Good afternoon, everyone. The topic: universal
Basic income.
basic income.
Do I need to give the background
Give them
again?
just a little synopsis.
Okay, well, the background-
I read it, but
Well, the background again, and for those also who are just tuning in, basically, the way I originally learned about this was that Mark Zuckerberg, founder of Facebook, was speaking, and he was proposing that we may have to eventually in the United States go to a system where every citizen gets a set amount of income to live off of. And the reason why he was saying this and why some other people have called for this is because there's going to eventually come a point to where, due to automation, there may not be enough jobs to go around, especially if the trucking and the fast food industries go to automation. There will be potentially thousands and hundreds, even up to hundreds of thousands of people who will be out of work. They'll be looking for work, and there just won't be enough jobs to go around. And then at that point, what can we do? What should we do? Or what will we end up doing to help these people? So that's kind of where we are in the discussion. So Brother Cos, want to kind of get your thoughts on that.
so many. Okay, automation is good, but like you said, fast food is going. McDonald's now they're putting in. You just walk up to a kiosk and type your order in. It's not here yet, but it's coming here. You just type your order in, and they just bring it out to you. I mean, automation. But I don't think it should be just a universe, because most time, okay, who said that? The founder of Facebook. How much money does he make?
And that was the first thing that was
Yeah,
that was the first thing that was mentioned when we first got on the show.
Is he going to contribute?
Right. Everybody has these big, broad, fine ideas, but let's talk to the people that make less than $30,000 a year and see do they want it. They want to get up there just like you are up there. I mean, innovation helps you to go further, but automation seems like to me just slows you down, because too much automation, like you said, put people out of work.
Mm-hmm. And I was just sitting here thinking about this. We were talking about, of course, automation might take out jobs, but then again, you have to have whatever it is to support and the infrastructure to support the automation. Talking about self-driving cars and trucks and things like that. Well, hey, maybe those jobs that are lost get put back into maintaining the roads and the infrastructure that these things have to use. There's always going to be an opportunity, and that's the point. Is we adapt. We adapt as humans, we adapt as a culture, and we will find a way to have these things. I mean, everybody talks about it. Yards need to be mowed, infrastructure needs to take place, ditches need to be dug, roads need to be laid and maintained. It's all going to be there. You just realign what is being lost.
It's just a scary thought. A computer, a robot, driving an 80,000-pound moving vehicle.
I mean, before you were on time, but we just look at the show, The Jetsons.
I remember the Jetsons. That wasn't before my time.
Brad,
I'm sure you remember the Jetsons. My question is, why can't they develop a Rosie?
And the cell phone. Whoever thought?
Yeah.
But then, like I said, there'll be certain jobs that will probably go away, but there will be other jobs that will be created to maintain and support.
But who's going to be qualified to have
those? Those that want to make the effort to still do it.
And you would have to be retrained.
You have to be retrained.
That's like even in the hospital.
Let you off and then try to retrain you. I'm 60 years old. I don't want to be retrained to do this here, and I might last.
Well, luckily for you, Brother Cobbs, I don't think they're going to have automated barber chairs.
No, you're busy.
You'd be surprised.
Well, even at your
That's a scary thought too.
And actually, I want to throw this out there. There's something that maybe we're overlooking, is with all the automation and things that we're talking about that could occur, there are going to be some basic skills and trades that are going to become far more valuable. Because think about it like this: how many people do you know in town that are tailors now? Do you know any tailors? Do you know any cobblers? Do you know any people that actually used to do basic, very fundamental skills? Those skills will come back on a rise because there's some things you just can't automate.
And it's interesting you bring that because where you're sitting right here in the studio used to be a alteration shop. It was Wright's Alterations. In fact, from what I was told, basically she was here when the building was built, and was here probably like 30 years before she finally retired and sadly eventually passed away before. So I think we're the only like the second tenant to ever actually be in this room.
Believe it or not, the people in this room right now, Brother Cobb and Legans, would probably have more job security because those are roles that they're basic fundamentals that have to be there.
Well, with radio, I mean, of course, radio has changed a lot from, a couple decades ago when, DJs actually spun turntables and CD players. And now, like I said, this computer...
I actually know how to do that.
This computer is running now. I mean, it runs, and when we get out of here, this computer will still run and play music. And when Brother Cobbs comes in tomorrow to do Victory Praise Gospel, even though he'll be talking and he can add it to playlist, the computer still runs. But, I mean, even though the computer plays music 24/7, I still have to come in and do things to keep the station going. I can walk away for maybe a day or two, but eventually I will have to come in and do things to keep the station operational.
And I think that's maybe what I'm trying to say is that we have this mindset of, jobs are going to go, but this is not going to be the sky is falling. This is not Chicken Little. I mean, things, when you really stop and look at it, we're still going to move forward, and those things are going to be realigned. I think it's just the initial fact that people are just scared up front.
Well, that's even like at your hospitals. They have doctors that won't be coming to visit patient by patient. They'll be on a screen and they'll be talking to you, and they're gonna have some nurses around or two, but they're even downscaling that where he can talk to you, he can look at you, and somebody can assist.
And actually, Ms. Farrell, if you go to the NYIT on campus, they've actually got that because the day that they opened it up and they gave the media a tour, they actually had this big wall where there was actually an instructor from New York, and he was able to actually interact with us, and I was able to put my hand up and fist bump him, and he could basically, and that's how some of those classes are being taught. The professor is in the NYIT in New York, but they have the classroom and all the equipment in the room, and he can actually teach that class from New York.
So like you said, just doing it a different way. There'll be people that have something to do. They just not going to say, well, we're going to put these people over here in this camp and they're going to die because they're not working anymore. No, it's not going to be that way. Even with my little small experience.
It's not going to be that way, but you still, like you just said, put them in a certain group, certain criteria and everything, because everybody is not
trainable, retrainable.
Right.
But that, like I said, even with my little small experience and at my age, it was an opportunity. They're gonna find the best way and try in every way. I'll say the companies that I had dealings with, DuPont and General Electric, and they are major corporations in the United States. They took every person's, one that was 60 to the one that was 26, into respect. What is your goal? What do you want to do 10 years from today? Or what are you going to do next year? Do you want to relocate? What do you want to do? Because we're going to guide you through it.
Okay, you all are saying it, but one of the main things to me is get the people. It's another talk show, but help the people get off of welfare. Change that mindset. Because you can change that, because I heard one of the preachers saying, Jesse Duplantis said, you give them a brand new house, you give somebody a brand new house, they've been living in a project all the time, they still going to dry clothes.
Actually, that was Ben Carson. He actually had that the other week.
We got to change that mindset.
Well, it's just like drugs and alcohol. You got to want to do it too.
Right.
And that was actually,
you got to want it.
It's interesting you say that. There was a telecast with Ben Carson. I mean, everybody knows who Ben Carson is, and he made the comment that if you take a successful person and you put them in the lowest economy of income, that successful person, you give him time, he will be right back where he was.
Right.
And if you take someone from the lowest income and you give them the riches and the fame, they will find a way and they will be right back. There is a certain level of mindset, and that's one thing I mentioned earlier, talking about this universal income, is that there are going to be people that are going to rise above that. There are going to be people that are not going to settle just for the basic minimum, and they are going to exceed. and you're going to be right back in the same place. You're going to have those that are far above everybody else, and you're going to be in the same position. I mean, why should we hand somebody a paycheck when we can teach them? What's the old adage? Give a man a fish, he's hungry, he's full for a day. Teach him how to fish, and he's full for the rest of his life. I mean, I just completely chopped that up, but
you get what I'm saying.
We know what you're talking about.
I get the point. And I think the key is just to make sure that we actually are doing that, because I know, Brad, your position is that you don't think the government should do so. So hopefully that the private sector will take it upon themselves, if for no other reason, for the spirit of competition, to have the best possible employees will take these people who may be displaced and help them to get to a level to where they can still be productive. Because at the end of the day, if you have a society of people who are productive and they are able to provide for themselves and make money, they're going to turn around and spend money, and that's going to help keep the economy going.
Right. So I mean, again, I think it comes down to that people that don't want to settle and they don't want to be on the base and the bottom, they're going to find a way, and they're going to rise up, and they are going to be there, and they are going to lead, and they're going to set a standard. That's always going to happen.
Tune our thoughts on the matter on KLEK 102.5 FM. We are discussing the topic of universal basic income. If you want to weigh in on this, or if you got something else that you want to talk about with our panel, you can give us a call at 870-277-1080. Once again, that phone number is 870-277-1080. You can also leave your questions and your comments on our Facebook live stream. We'll be happy to read your comment on the air, and the panel will be happy to discuss it. We don't have any new comments right now, but we do appreciate everyone who has checked in so far.
Okay, you was talking about back to the universal, everybody making about the same amount. I mean, but you got the housing, you have all this. They're gonna go universal too.
Well, that wasn't discussed in this article.
Do yourself a favor and go back and read George Orwell's 1984. That's what this sounds like. I mean, that's just me.
Well, it sounds like communism to me. And that would be, I mean, if that's the way you want to do it, if you want to pay my rent, my house note, and give me this X amount of dollars to buy food.
Well, Miss Furl, I don't.
That would be fine. That's fine with me.
I'm assuming it's between Brad and Amanda, the youngest of us. I don't think it's going to happen to either one of their lifetimes.
Hopefully not.
All right, we have another one. This is from Quabila again. She says, question for those you say are not paying income taxes, have felony records, disabled, incorporated. What are your ideas on reforming these individuals? Should felons be given a second chance on a case-by-case basis?
I believe it should be case by case.
And also, Quabila, when you, I know that you're actually leaving these comments under the KLEK page, so when you leave your comments, be sure to add your initials at the end of it so that they'll know it's coming from you and directly not from the station. All right, so now responding to Quabila's question.
It depends on case by case, in my opinion, in reform. I think we really need to sit back, assess, actually figure out whether or not these people, another loophole to DHS is the people who are supposedly single, don't have a boyfriend, when they actually do have one living there. That happens more than by the way. And also, she's talking about second offenders. I'm the kind of person, depends on what they did. It depends on what they did. You need to help the person. If they're willing to help themselves, you need to help them.
That's the opposite answer right there. If they are willing to help themselves, I don't care what offense you did. If you're willing to help yourself, I think there should be a program or something like that that could help you, because jobs don't even want to employ you if you have a federal, if you have a felony on your record.
Just call that black box. Did you check?
I think she was mentioning, though, were you not mentioning people not paying taxes?
Well, I can reread the
please
comment.
reread the comment.
All right, so
she said the felony too. Get a second.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to reread the comments. A question for those you say are not paying income taxes, and then in parentheses have felony record, disabled, etc. What are your ideas on reforming those individuals? Should felons be given a second second chance, on a case-by-case basis.
That's two questions.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things here. Is like, you got people that are not paying taxes, whether it's individuals in income taxes or even companies.
Or you're president of the United States.
I think if you don't pay taxes, you shouldn't have no option to it. But that's just me.
I'm gonna say that if you are not paying your taxes in the event that you are actually breaking the laws that are on the books, then yes, you definitely need to. There needs to be some kind of recourse to that.
What do you mean, Brad?
Say what?
They need to do what?
I don't know. I mean, there could be a lot of different things. I mean, let's just talk on a local level. When you have people that are not paying their local taxes, like, for example, businesses, who gets impacted by that?
The local community.
That would be your community. That would be mainly around here. That would be things like your schools.
What should be done?
And then that's a hard thing.
Well, they take your driver's license. It's a lot of stuff they do.
I don't know. I mean, I on the spot, can I make an answer? I don't know. I mean, there are lots of businesses. No, and that's
they take your properties.
That is the point of this.
Well, that's exactly what happens. You don't pay your house
there are
taxes.
businesses when they don't pay taxes, they are given a cease and
it.
desist on being able to operate. Their business licenses are pulled. I mean, there's things like that occur. But I mean, when people that don't pay their taxes, it directly impacts the people in the community because that's the point of tax. So,
right. And we got another comment from Kabila. She says it's more like socialism versus communism in reference to Mrs. Farrell. Socialism long term is not good for society, but being a total my app would freeze on me. Let me start this over again. It's more like socialism versus communism in reference to Mrs. Norma. Socialism long term is not good for society, but being a total capitalism is even more detrimental.
Right. There has to be the common ground. There has
if
to be.
If you've never lived it, I was just saying, if you want to do that, but no, if you've never lived in a communist country or in the United States, and I haven't, because I've been here all my life, but I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it and do with my money what I want to do with it. I don't want to be issued out to me and be told what to do. No.
Well, I mean, if you look at history from the beginning of time, I mean, every civilization out there has had those that has exceeded in a form of capitalism, and whether it was they had 100 goats or they got $100 billion, I mean, there was always a way that certain individuals and communities excelled. But then also you look at those communities, there's always been record of them taking care of their elderly or their invalids and things like that. There's just about every modern civilization from the beginning of time of recording history has been on that type of behavior. So there has to be some form of middle ground to where you take care of your community, keep your community strong, but you have people that still rise above.
Yeah,
Speaking from Victory Praise Gospel, you said the correct thing. It's always been you're gonna have some. You're gonna get some one, some two, many different talents. That's what you do with what I give you. That's when you can be blessed. Now you go hide it, like you said. He's gonna take one that hid it and give it to the one that had the most. In other words, you got to make yourself productive. And then it also taught you to take care of the widows, take care of the orphan. So that's all biblical.
Well, look at the slaves, where they came from. From slavery to where black people have come to today. And they were in a you might as well say a communist environment, because they were told and gave, and you had your limits to where you could go and what you could do. But they were always above
it.
And
then when you freed them, some of them still had that same mentality, but some of them still went out and did what they could to make themselves a better.
They rose above,
of the society.
And I think just what I want to add to that is that, and I would agree with Kabila, I think we need a balance, because if you have a total socialism, then that would stifle innovation because people wouldn't have the incentive to be productive. But if you have unfettered capitalism, then you're going to have people who are going to get greedy and say, forget everybody else that's amongst the least of these. So you want to try to strike a balance. Of course, we can have a debate on what's the best way to get there. Should it be mandated, or should we try to hope that the honor system or whatever? So
well, I think our system is working pretty good.
Well, Brother Cos, what would you say to those who are struggling in the system?
Struggling? I mean, some struggles you create.
Excuse me.
Some struggles you do create.
What about those beyond your control?
Those beyond your control. Sometimes if you can get around a certain thing, or I'll put it this way. back to Victory Praise Gospel. He tell you when to stop, turn, or move around. It's up to you to follow your mind to do what you're supposed to do. If you don't follow it, you're going to land into destruction. You're going to destroy yourself.
All right.
Now, if you're born with it, that's totally different. But everybody's given a choice on what to do once they become of age, on how to do this and how not to do this. And you got to make the decision of your own. Even if you was not taught from your household, you was taught in school. If you would sit there and pay attention, but you choose not to pay attention, that's the choice you made. And so you got to go down the road of the choice that you made.
All right, and we're going to stop there. I do have a question for Mr. Dial. This is from Kabila. I'm going to have Brad answered on the other side of the break. She says, Brad, I get disability income and I don't pay income taxes. And my dang app froze again. I get disability income and I don't pay income taxes. I still pay property taxes on my car and sales taxes. What suggestion would Brad have for me? Kabila J. Hardy. All right, well, Kabila, stay tuned. After the break, Brad will answer it. This is Our Thoughts on the Matter, and you listen to KLEK 102.5 FM.
You're listening to Our Thoughts on the Matter on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
If you're over 40 and still haven't developed good fitness habits, now's the time to rescue yourself. Anyone, fit or flabby, old or young, can begin an exercise routine by imitating a turtle. Start slow. Watching younger people bounce through vigorous exercise routines with limitless energy can intimidate older couch potatoes, but don't despair. Don't try to live up to anyone's exercise capabilities but yours. And don't try the strenuous routines that professional fitness experts advertise on television. Commit to doing something active every day. Start by warming your muscles with deep stretching, then go for a brisk walk to the end of your block. Add 3 to 4 blocks the next week. In no time, you'll be walking miles, and you'll be a fitness expert. I'm Alexis Comer for Black Health Now.
Black Health Now. Black Health Now is made possible by the Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, a nonprofit organization dedicated to uncompromising commitment to communities, service, leadership, empowerment. www.jonesboroalumnidst.org.
Hello, this is your girl Allie J, and I want everyone to join me for Kick It With a Cancer, my birthday bash going down June 23rd at Legends Barbecue Smokehouse, 1025 West Johnson Avenue, across from Riceland Foods in Jonesboro. This party is going to be an all-ages affair from 7 to 10 o'clock p.m., and I'm letting all cancers in free until 8:30 p.m. with ID. Music by DJ Mr. Chew. To celebrate my birthday, I'm going to make it easy on your pockets, too. Just $5 to get in for adults, $3 if you're 13 and 17, and kids 12 and under get in free. I told you it's an all-ages family affair, and you know you want to be there, right? And just because it's my birthday, I'm giving away presents to some lucky guests. So come kick it with a cancer June 23rd at Legends Barbecue Smokehouse, 1025 West Johnson Avenue from 7 to 10 p.m. This is a KLEK fundraiser.
When a woman gives her all to her boyfriend, she is hopeful about the future. Marriage was in her future plans until she received some shocking news. Now, with her dreams shattered and life altered, she has to pick up the pieces and move forward. It was in this experience that she realized that love has no protection. KLEK 102.5 FM and Massey Productions presents the inspirational gospel stage play, Love Has No Protection, a story that will inspire you, renew and reaffirm your faith, featuring performers from all over Arkansas, Texas, and Louisiana. 7 p.m., Saturday, June 24th, at the Arkansas State University Student Union. Tickets are $10 in advance, $15 at the door, and can be purchased at KLEK, Cool Cuts, online at www.klekfm.org, or by calling 870-277-1080. Bring the entire family. Saturday, June 24th, to the Arkansas State University Student Union to see Love Has No Protection, the inspirational gospel stage play, 7 p.m. This event is a KLEK fundraiser.
Just added a special 3 o'clock p.m. matinee show. That's right, now it's going to be 2 shows, 3 o'clock p.m. and 7 o'clock p.m. The hit gospel stage play, Love Has No Protection, coming to the ASU Student Union Centennial Hall, June 24th. Don't miss it. From the KLEK Community Calendar, First Baptist Church, Kitchen Street, Reverend Curtis Wilson, pastor, presents On Course with God, the Faith Run. The kickoff dates will be June 3rd, 2017 at 3 o'clock p.m. at New Life Empowerment Ministries, 601 Marshall Street in Jonesboro. And also June 12th, 2017, 6 o'clock p.m. at First Baptist Church, 700 Kitchen Street, Jonesboro. There will also be Vacation Bible School June 13th through 15th, 2017 from 6 o'clock p.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. at First Baptist Church, 700 Kitchen Street, Jonesboro. KLEK 102.5 FM wants to be active in the community. If you or your organization is hosting a community service event, we would like to know about it and be a part of it. KLEK will promote your event on air, online, and on social media. KLEK personalities may also attend the event and provide music and or entertainment. Certain restrictions and availability may apply. If you or your organization would like to partner with KLEK to make the Jonesboro community a better place, call 870-277-1080 or email us at klek@klekfm.org. In order for a community announcement or church announcement to be aired on KLEK 102.5 FM, we ask that the announcement be sent at minimum 1 week in advance. Thank you for supporting KLEK 102.5 FM.
And now back to our thoughts on the matter on KLEK 102.5 FM.
KLEK 102.5 FM, and we're back on our thoughts on the matter on KLEK 102.5 FM. Our panel for today is Mrs. Norma Farrell, Mrs. Amanda Donovan,
Afternoon.
and Brother Cobbs.
Good afternoon, everyone.
And Mr. Brad Dow.
Hello.
All right, so before we went to break, Quabila had a question for Brad. She says, I get disability income and don't pay income taxes. I still pay property taxes on my car and sales taxes. What suggestion would Brad have for me?
As far as suggestions, I'm not sure exactly what you mean in the form of suggestions, but one thing I was mentioning earlier, the main point of bringing up that topic was that, we were talking about universal income and potentially, how to make that happen and how would it be funded. Well, just simply saying that there are over 50% of households that don't pay federal income tax. Now, that is by law. A lot of them are probably by law not required to, which I think is what you were discussing. So, by law, if you're not you're not dodging it or breaking the law, then that's perfectly fine. That's what it is there for. That's what it's designed for those that potentially could be on a form of disability or assistance. We're not going to tax them on the things that they are given like that. So, that is, I think where I was going with that, I actually made that comment earlier, for those that don't pay taxes and they're not dodging paying taxes by law, then that's what it's designed for.
The tax was done for income.
Right.
Income tax. That means your working capability. So that's not work.
Exactly.
Everything that the government give you is not work. But if your income, yes, if you have an income, you need to pay taxes.
Exactly, and I think that's where I was going with earlier. But there are certain laws that are designed for those that fall into a certain, grouping to not have to pay. And if you're following the law, I think is where I was going with earlier.
Maybe we just have wages then.
Right, maybe get wages. Yeah. So again, I think that's what I was mentioning earlier. If you are following the law and you're not breaking the law and you're not required, then I don't see an issue at that point.
And maybe for a future show, we may want to have a discussion on would we be better off being taxed on income or on consumption? But that's for another day.
Yeah.
But Amanda wanted to actually talk about a couple things going on locally. I believe we had a vote at the city council where the zoning development on South Caraway, after an outcry from the community, it was not approved. I know there was a lot of opposition to it, including the Nettleton School District that was opposed to it because the situation with it is a lot of apartments there are a lot of apartments that are in the Nettleton School District, so that kind of lowers their property tax base in which they can draw money from to operate their school district and do expansion and the other things. And then there were people opposed to it because I think all of us can agree that if you try to drive on South Caraway, especially the further south you go, the more of a cluster what it becomes.
Right. First and foremost, I want to thank the city council members who actually listened to our community. I mean, it was obvious an outcry, and I want to thank Nate Looney for helping getting this publicized, helping getting signatures and getting rallying people and everybody else that contributed, because the people obviously did not want it there. I mean, it just didn't make sense. There's other places in town where they could put it. And Nettleton School District, he brought up a good idea. Most of these schools operate on federal funds, and lower the funds, lower the money. So, that's my thought.
Anybody have anything on that?
I disagree. I'm sorry. It should have went in because you're putting them everywhere else. I mean, you got the whole village over here, self-sustaining village. Where's those taxes going? I mean, what school district is that going to affect? That's Nettleton School District. Those are apartments, so why not let the people...
Well, I think what their point is, Brother Cobbs, that disproportionately compared to the other districts around town, like I think they said 50% are in Nettleton District. I don't know what the percentages are for Jonesboro, Valley View, West Side, or any of the other surrounding areas.
I mean, really, Nettleton really has the biggest growth over the last couple of years because Jonesboro is landlocked. Jonesboro is locked in because you got Valley View, Brooklyn, and Nettleton surrounding Jonesboro, so Jonesboro cannot really grow that much.
Yeah, I would say out of all the school districts, Nettleton has the most densely populated.
Right.
Not necessarily largest, but most densely populated, yeah.
I mean, you're going to, like you said, wherever the apartments go, you're going to have a problem. Right. I don't care if it's down Stadium, if it's down Matthews, if it's down Washington.
Yeah,
the city needs to be built up. You coming in from that side of the town, come from Wynn and all them other places. Why not let it be beautiful? You come in from that side of town and just...
Yeah, I think the big take home of that is, whether you are for or against it, I mean, you can easily see that our city council listened to the people, which is what should happen. They should be representation of the people that they are there for, and I think it actually is, even though it got turned down, I think it's still a success in the community to a certain degree because it showed that we listen to our people.
That's right.
And that's what you're doing. Just what you voted to put those people in for that. And I've got a little throwout I want to say about the jet. This is totally different than what we're talking, but it's about the jet buses. I'll be at the transfer station on Thursday of next week. We're taking signatures to see about getting Saturday ridership and extended hours. So anybody that wants to sign a piece of paper will be taking it to the council very soon.
And if this is something that you feel strongly about, I know we've had people call in on editions of Community Conversations and other shows that are in favor of extended jet services. Of course, there are some hurdles that would have to be overcome for it to happen, but let your voice be known. Is this something that you want? So that if the people in charge see that there are people that want this, then they will try to at least work through those hurdles to make this happen.
Please go sign the paper because a lot of people do not want to ride the taxi service. They charge for every stop you make. So support the Jonesboro transportation.
And I want to throw a question out there about the whole South Caraway thing, and because one of the big reasons was because of traffic, but lack of sidewalks. So which would people like to see first, sidewalks or larger roads down there?
Okay, now I already said...
I think we need to widen the roads first.
The roads.
I think you need to build an amusement center and let it pay for the sidewalks and
the
all
water
the stuff
park?
around. Yeah.
The water park.
Ever pay for the sidewalks and everything, because how many people going to go to the water park 3 or 4 times a year, $40 a person?
Well, I mean,
that's a lot of money.
Mayor Perrin is on the record saying that he is in favor of water parks, and he has been working with trying to get private developers to help it happen. So, will it happen? We will see. Any other final comments? Excuse me. We got about 25 seconds left.
Legans, could you say the phone number just so people have it for next time?
It's 870-277-1080. Once again, that phone number is 870-277-1080. You can also comment on our Facebook live stream. But we got to get ready to get up out of here. We only got about 5 seconds left to go. You guys have a great and blessed day.
Blessed day. Blessed day.
weekend.
Victor Praise Gospel tomorrow morning.
This is KLEK 102.5 FM.
Thank you for listening to our Thoughts on the Matter on KLEK 102.5 FM, a program offering opinions from all sides of the issues concerning local, state, and national topics of importance to the Jonesboro community. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, or our underwriters, donors, or sponsors.